Hi friends, welcome to the kitchen. You know what? This is not a particular recipe. This is more like an approach to building your own meal, which you will enjoy. When I was going to the office, I found it was so easy to make something like this. It's so versatile, so diverse. You can mix and match different kinds of things, and it looks like a fresh new meal every day, so you don't get bored with it. It's really easy to make, and all you need is maybe a couple of hours during the weekend. You can separate the cooking time. You don't have to cook everything in one time. Just cook stuff as you go, as you have time, as you have availability. So, long story short, let me show you one of the bowl recipes, Buddha bowl recipes, which I really enjoyed, and this is why I wanted to share it with you. In general, when you think about bowls, you want to combine different kinds of ingredients and to build your own flavor profile and also different textures together. So normally you would like to have some grain like rice, like buckwheat, like quinoa, which is like pseudo grain, but whatever. You can also use bulgur or anything that you like, anything that you can think of that you enjoy eating. Then you would like to think of your protein, of course. I think many people have been to bowl restaurants, so the concept is really very, very similar. You can use beans like chickpeas, red kidney beans, black kidney beans, white kidney beans. You can use some lentils, although I do not really like lentils in bowls. I don't know why, that's my personal preference, but I do really enjoy some chickpeas. Sometimes I also add a little bit of tofu as a protein. Edamame can go amazingly here. One of other great additions, which is actually also quite high in protein, are mushrooms. Mushrooms are very special and very, very dear to my heart. Why? That's because mushrooms absorb the flavor like crazy, like nothing. The texture of well-cooked mushrooms is so unique, and it's not really hard to cook them. It's chewy, they do have this umami flavor to them, which is like a separate flavor component, so you might want to add some of those as well. And then we are thinking about some starch. Probably, if you do not mind starches. It can be some roasted, sweet, or regular potatoes of different colors. If you think about a meal, you want it to be colorful, you want it to be full of color and flavor, and also with different textures, because our palate does actually perceive different textures, so it does affect our overall satisfaction with the meal. So if you are someone who does not really like plants, why don't you try combining different textures? Of course, if we talk about bowls, think about what you like most and bring it all together for a party. I'll start with preparing mushrooms. You start with aromatics, onion and garlic. You add them to the frying pan, which is heated up enough. I'm using wok here, but you don't have to use a wok. It's actually better if you have a frying pan, which does have a little bit of more surface to have contact with the food, so the pan does not get crowded, and you can stir fry the food a little bit more evenly this way. After the onions and garlic have started sticking, we do add the mushrooms. Here I'm using enoki and champignon or white button mushrooms, and I'm just giving them a stir a little bit until they start browning and until the mushrooms start giving out water. After which I'm adding a little bit of balsamic vinegar combined with soy sauce. As I mentioned, this is one of my favorite flavor combinations in the world, and we just start simmering until the liquid has pretty much evaporated. You can add a tad of black pepper to the mushes to help them be a little bit more flavorful, but overall, as I mentioned, mushrooms are amazing in soaking up all the flavor from your balsamic vinegar, from your soy sauce, and I just love it. I was planning to go in with some buckwheat, but then I noticed that I do have some open quinoa packages, so I decided to cook some quinoa instead. You just rinse it off and then you just cook it as indicated on the package. I did pressure cook it for around 13 minutes. Quinoa is not only the source of carbs, as you may know, it's also a source of protein and iron, which is really important to me, a topic that's very dear to my heart. I published a video about iron consumption from plant sources, and I'm going to link it, I think, here, so you can go check it out if this is one of your concerns. I think it turned out pretty fine. Moving on to the next part of our journey, it's a starch, and this is one of my favorite ways to cook sweet potatoes. I just slice them into pieces that are this thick, and the pieces should be of approximately the same size, so the heat can cook them in the oven, 180 degrees Celsius, I think it's 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, the smaller the pieces that you're using, the higher the temperature should be. You want the vegetables to roast slightly to caramelize a little bit. In this case, I roasted my sweet potatoes on one side for around 10 minutes, then I flipped them and continued to roast them for around 10 more minutes. At the same time, while the potatoes are roasting, we can go ahead with pan frying some corn. These are baby corns. They are going to grill really nicely on a pan. You can see them start browning quite fast actually, so you just need to check on them. They start sizzling a little bit. You will start seeing them brown. In this case, just turn them to the other side. The color is going to be more golden than yellow, and this is how you know that they're ready to go. They don't take very much time to cook, to prepare, around 5 minutes overall on a heated pan. If you're using a non-stick pan, in this case, do remember to not heat up your pan too much, because the coating of the pan can start melting off and getting into your food. It's not the best practice. You want to cook those veggies with dry heat on a pan and not to steam them. When you add some water into the pan, you're going to steam the vegetables. This does not lead to developing any flavors, as well as when you steam some veggies, this does not lead to any additional flavor in your meal. But if you roast, if you pan fry without oil or with oil, dry or combined methods do lead to the development of more flavor inside your food, which is, I think, a really nice tip to know. I will roast some bell peppers, which I really love. Around 15 minutes is enough for them to be in the oven. And I'm also adding some onions in there, which I'm just dipping into the mixture of balsamic vinegar and soy sauce. This is one of my favorite things in the world. 15 minutes is enough for both capsicums and for the onions, for the red onions, to be cooked but not overcooked. So if you prefer a little bit of softer vegetables, probably leave them in there for around 20 minutes. In the meantime, we do have our Brussels sprouts. These are going to be my greens. I didn't have any broccolis, and I'm trying to have some cruciferous vegetables. I think there are different camps in treating broccolis, Brussels sprouts, cauliflowers. I prefer to soak them and to clean them, and here you can see me just slicing off the bottoms, and I'm taking off the outer leaves. This can also help you identify whether or not there are insects on the inside of the Brussels sprout. Boiling also helps, of course, but still I find that examining anything that you cook prior to cooking is actually a good strategy to follow overall. I'm using my pressure cooker here, and it takes around 1 minute to cook Brussels sprouts when it comes to the pressure cooking temperature. Things are starting to come together. We are ready. I have some pre-cooked chickpeas. You can of course use canned chickpeas. We are putting it all together, and look at the colors. And moreover, there is so much variety and so many different textures. You can also store the leftovers or the separately cooked vegetables in the fridge for a couple of days, like up to 4 to 5 days. And in this case, you will have a variety of meals prepared for you for the week. This might be great if you're cooking for yourself or for some of the family members, especially if you have some strong preferences in the family and you want to separate some ingredients from other ingredients. I like calling those meals constructor meals or modular meals, because you can actually think about how you would like to combine the ingredients and what you would like to eat on a given day. And this saves so much time. It actually does take some time to cook, especially if you only have one baking tray. I think I will invest in one more baking sheet. Pressure cooker is a great time saver. So if you do have an opportunity to invest in one, but if you haven't invested yet, do consider it. They come in different different shapes and forms, and some of them are not programmable. You can put them on a stove and cook on a stove. It does reduce the cooking time of legumes and grains significantly, and the quality of food is way better than the quality of outsourced food that you can buy from the stores. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Tell me what you think. Do you like more intricate meals where the flavors and the ingredients are blended together a little bit more, or do you prefer something simpler on the other hand? Some meals where you can combine your ingredients and decide on what you want to eat today. Let me know what you think. Bowls are definitely a different vibe altogether. Please like this video if you liked it, and if you really do feel like it, please do subscribe. Do eat some greens today. Know what you eat. Be healthy, be well, and I see you in the next video. Bye.